Hi, I'm Cristine Rayner. This is my channel Mommingatmidnight. I plan to provide tips on parenting, homeschooling, therapy, and relationships. So if those are topics of interest to you, you might be up late, like many of us, still momming at midnight when our kids are asleep. And I welcome you to check out my channel and subscribe for multiple videos on those topics. I often prioritize all of our field trips or museum trips or park days with friends over schooling because we can do more schooly activities in our downtime, whether it's after dinner or first thing in the morning or whenever we feel like it. We get a lot done. A lot of the time you become really proficient in blending subjects and making it interesting and creative and fun for the kids to learn. That comes with time, but it's much easier to blend things and offer really quality, valuable learning materials or subjects instead of taking what may have taken 4 or 5 hours to do in a traditional school. Right now, it is really hard for everybody to get their social needs met. It is difficult to go to park days. It is difficult to meet anybody anywhere. We can't go to the trampoline park for PE anymore. We can't visit people at the park unless they're really comfortable. We're not able to go to museums right now. Usually we get to go to museums at least once a month because they have free days for homeschoolers. You can look those up on their websites. There are a lot of virtual tours right now for museums. We're all doing the best we can during COVID to meet the social needs of our kids. Some kids are more introverted and love staying home and have a great time with it. Other kids are really struggling because they really miss their friends. They want to go out and play. They might have specific games or sports that they like to engage in. They can't do that right now. So we have to do the best that we can with what we have. And we're doing a lot of Zoom. We're doing a lot of gaming subscriptions where both kids can be on the same time and maybe they get to Zoom after and talk about it. Maybe there are some board games or other games that can be played over Zoom. Maybe there are some families who find 1 or 2 families that are comfortable meeting up and only staying around each other for this period of time. This is one of the earliest lessons I learned about homeschooling, was that if I couldn't find a resource or I couldn't find a group or I couldn't find a park day that was at the right time for me, you just make one yourself. Be a leader. It's up to you now to decide what your life's going to look like. Design your life. Design your child's life. I never really knew what true freedom felt like until I was a homeschool parent. Then I realized I don't have to go by anybody else's rules. I can decide when my daughter learns, what she learns, in what way she learns, which standards or information I think don't matter at all. When you reflect upon your own childhood and figure out what worked and what didn't work, what did you like, what did you not like, and then see through the eyes of your own kids to try to design their lives for what it is that they would get the most benefit from. For me, I can remember lots of field trips. I don't remember almost anything in class. I can remember times when I did a report on something I cared about. I can remember essays I did that were self-reflective. I don't remember the smaller things that were jargon or not really that important. If it's something that you have never had to use in your life, you have to question that. Is that something my child is really going to need to learn? Do they really, really need to know what a past participle is? Is this something that's going to ruin their life? If they don't spend time memorizing and regurgitating this stuff, is that going to harm them? Or is that valuable time that they could be spending doing something worthwhile? If they're not going to use it, don't teach it. If you don't know if they're going to need it in the future, then at least cover the basics. They can decide as they grow if they want to go to a certain college or into a certain field, into a certain trade. If they need more math for that subject or that trade school or that college, they have a love of learning and the ability to teach themselves. They have the ability to find resources and they will go and learn those things. I didn't believe that this was true at first. At first, I thought, well, if I don't make my daughter learn a certain level of math, there's not a chance she's gonna go do that on her own. But I was really surprised when she was 7 and she came to me asking to learn about chemistry. I was like, I don't even know any chemistry. How am I going to teach her? That's okay. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You just need to know how to find materials and tutors and people from the community who know those topics. You can connect with those people. Sometimes you can trade subjects. Sometimes you can be part of a co-op. The main role of a homeschool parent is to be a parent. The secondary piece is to gather materials and resources and schedule things in your child's day which are worthwhile and valuable. You want to make sure there's enough things in the day for them to grow their interest and also enough downtime to be bored enough to self-direct and to ask questions, to find a box on the floor and start making something out of it. Many people ask, but what do you actually do in the day? Everybody has a different schedule and different kids and different philosophies. But something that many homeschoolers do is start out with a pile of library books, workbooks, crafting material, maker kits in a morning basket. So if you are to pile a bunch of learning materials into a basket and sit that out for your kids, when they're ready to start learning or start going through some materials, they have that ready. It doesn't take a huge amount of planning. If you want to have conversations about what they're learning and check for comprehension, you can do that. If you don't feel that's necessary, you don't have to do that. If you want to make sure they got through certain subjects or a certain amount of material, you can keep a journal. Sometimes kids can be left alone with their learning, other times they need facilitation. Sometimes kids need structure and the ability to check off their tasks. Some kids need some behavioral charts and tools. If you have more questions about those things, feel free to leave comments. I'd love to answer your questions and maybe I'll do a video to answer them. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe, and I'll make more videos on homeschooling, parenting, therapy tips, and relationships.